Well, here kind of buried under a lot of housing. Now this is housing up above, and I'll take and scan down here, and then we'll take and swing around. This is the pool, the ancient ruins of the Pool of Bethesda, and it's a little bit difficult to figure out exactly where the pool would have been, but this is the site. We know that. We just don't know at what level and what walls did and what walls didn't actually apply to it. Another section of the Pool of Bethesda. I guess I'll just walk on down and see. This wall is marked as being Byzantine. There's an archway over here. Perhaps we're getting closer to the floor of it. It's a little difficult to tell. Yeah, again, much deeper. There's a cistern. They said this was marked as a medieval cistern, so, and it shows you how much they've just kept burying and redoing and burying and redoing. And now using night vision, you can just barely see the rock-ribbed walls up here. There's one of them. This is labeled as oops, a little hard it's having a hard time figuring out what to focus on. This is labeled as a Roman cistern. It is huge and really deep. I have no idea where the bottom is in this thing. But this is under the Pool of Bethesda. And now back on the standard vision. We'll come up out of the cistern. Oops, excuse me. Oh. Very deep. And this is supposed to be the actual pool where when the water would bubble the first person in. Kind of hard to imagine it now when you've had 2 millennia of building going on top of it.
First of all, we want to take this roof, this dome, barrel-shaped vault. We want to take it, lift it up in the air like Superman, and chunk it. We want to get rid of it for a moment. So I want you, first of all, just be looking at this level. This where the level, see it is? It's a different level. We've got bedrock down here, and then we've got actual stone. This is the way we're standing right now. We're swimming in the pool, which Herod the Great had built, which was right. It was an open air water reservoir, if you will, that was around the Antonia Fortress, which was right over this way. Okay, it's on the other side of this area.
Okay, what you're looking at is an ancient Roman military game played by soldiers. We're now deep underground. We've come up from that cistern, Roman cistern, and this is thought to be the floor of Antonia Fortress. The most significant thing would be the Bible statement that that the Roman soldiers would cast lots for Jesus' clothes at the foot of the cross, and one of the things that this would have been one of their dice games that they played. It's a speculation. They don't know exactly how the game would have been played or if it was with dice, but they do think that they know this is the right time period. And a little over from that Roman game, this is some views of the grooving in the piazza floor. He said these were lifted up from an older period. The grooving would have been from carts running across the floor for eons and just slowly wearing grooves in. So, rather interesting. We're here at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and this is not it. This is the door of the side church by a different Greek Orthodox or something. As you can hear the call to prayer, and unfortunately I'm hearing about every other word that our guide is giving us. This is the Catholic site of the Holy Sepulchre.
Underground chambers, and she claims to find the true cross. Whatever the case is and all that sort of stuff, there is some credit. Because indeed today, within the church, we find these elements. We find the stone floor, we find post stones, which are not displayed for us, but we do find first century too. We know we're outside.
We are now going into the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Us and our dear 386,000 other friends.
Jack, come on.
And we're going to walk around this way. He said this is a Crusader-built church. And I think we're losing the rest of our group.
This is Golgotha. This is what we're looking about, the glory I said that was left behind, that big lava stone. It goes all the way up to the second floor, so people going up those steps.
This is the Catholic version of the Golgotha.
It's a very quality room, and I don't think any of you would verify yourselves there. But understand, that's what was left, that's what they uncovered. There are underground tunnels and chambers over here. We're going to skip all that. His body, matter of fact, here's how it works. His tradition says that he's brought down from Golgotha, which means skull, by the way, Golgotha. That is the modern word.
More inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. The stone that we saw there in that little outcropping was considered to be Golgotha, which was the actual stone. And now this is a Catholic site. This is what the Catholics believe is the actual site. Now there's a Christian site outside the city that they believe is the Protestant version, if you want to call it that. Top of the dome.
They even have a garden here. The building's changed to the Crusader period of it, but nonetheless, even a garden over here on this side where that chapel currently is. Inside is the first century. It was packed down by pilgrims in the 17th period, and maybe who knows, some of it maybe have been destroyed too by the Romans. Who knows when they built the temple, which is over high up.
Small.
Exactly. Pull it out. Then they put it exactly.
Now let's see. We're gonna have to put a
Different family members, different.
night shot.
Exactly.
These are.
Family tombs.
This is a first century burial tomb. There are
You
two
could rent them. You know, I don't
places.
know how exactly it works.
And over here, these are two sealed. You can see the doors there.
It could, yes.
So this is the interior.
Clearly, but for some
And it's very small and it's very cramped and it's very time to leave.
Syrian Orthodox chapel.
Yeah.
a cave in the side of a hill or something.
Here is a spice shop with a little bit of everything in it. One of the ladies suggested that that was interesting. Look at the different colors, shapes, some wonderful odors coming out. And here is different kinds of teas. The ladies are going crazy now.
Get me in trouble, but I took 3 shots. Just one.
25 for a print. 25 for a print. 25.
No, I don't.
Here come a couple of guys that are casing the joints.
Yeah.
They looked happy.
Oh, yeah, we're right. We're fine, honey. No worries. Oh, yeah, actually, I feel good now.
And here, a bit below ground, we have come to the site of the Cardo. Now, originally it was a Roman road, and you can see the pillars. The pillars would have covered the shops and things on either side. There's only one row of pillars left. And he said this is partly Roman, which would be up to 326 BC, AD, sorry. And then beyond that, it would actually go to Byzantine, and some of this is Byzantine construction. And so the Byzantine would be from 326 to someplace mid-600s. And this is just a section that they were excavating and came across the road and went, oh, okay. So they basically unearthed it and turned it into a historic site. And if you continue on down, you can see the shopping mall that has been built all underground, going off in that direction out of old structure. That's where we just came through. Well, this is the old city wall. That shows you the height of it. And I'll back out and give you an idea. And down below, you can see the foundations. It would have been about 8 meters above this level. And it tells that the street level would have been just about that height. And then the 8-meter high wall. A lot of rocks.
She wanted to be close to you in case you were going to talk.
I'll be over here.
That's a mikveh in the corner.
All of that said, up till 1967, remember Jordanian, everything had been blown up in the Jewish quarter, and there were no streets in the old city, by the way. It was always dirt up to that time. And then we will pave streets, we will repair streets, we will do things, and we will begin to go about rebuilding the Jewish quarter and other parts of the old city. It's now a united city after 1967, and after the Israelis win the Six-Day War. When they do so, they're rebuilding buildings. It gives archaeologists a wonderful opportunity to come in, and they begin digging. Dig. As you can see, how many meters did they were below the modern surface? 8? 3? And in a little bit, we'll be over 8 meters. We're now over 12 feet below that bottom level, and the more we go down, the more we'll find stuff. Anywho, they went about, this is a yeshiva that's above us, and when they were going to build it, they excavated down, but they came with a great idea, let's build it up on pillars and preserve all of this archaeology for people to see.
And here is Tevye. Very good. Here is a view, a little different view, Dome of the Rock. And then it shows you the closeness to the Wailing Wall. And a little bit of Harrison's Arch. The wooden structure in front is temporary as they're doing construction underneath it. That will be taken down, and so we'll get that cleared out eventually. And here we'll take a close-up of the Dome of the Rock. I'll take and bring you around this way, and you can see the, and you can see the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's the Al-Aqsa there. If I remember right, Al-Aqsa means distant mosque because it is the third most sacred site for the Muslims. The first being Mecca, the second being Medina, and then I believe it's the Al-Aqsa, I think. Or maybe it's the Dome of the Rock, and then this is the fourth. It's something like that anyway. And here we are back at the Wailing Wall. At the end of the day, it's much quieter without all the little bar mitzvahs going on. And you can see the stain on the wall just about 6 feet up from all the people sitting, putting their foreheads on the wall as they pray. And when we cross the wall, the dividing wall, this is the women's section. And under, I think he said it was Harrison's Arch. That's the entry for the couple of hundred, well, maybe 300 feet deep section that runs along the wall. You see that earlier on the video when I was inside there yesterday. Well, this morning we are touring the City of David, and that would have basically been just the area down below to that kind of a down into the bottom of this ravine. That would be the Kidron Valley, and then it comes kind of across in this area. Yep, and there goes somebody happy this morning. And then it goes up to really to where the street with the buses that are passing by up there. It would have been the whole city of David when King David came and conquered the city. We just saw a 3D movie, which is really interesting, very helpful in giving you the layout of the area. But so this is the city of David. Well, this morning we are going to go through Hezekiah's water tunnel, and so we have to get suited up for getting wet for a little while, and hopefully I'll be able to shoot some video as we're walking through it. But this is the latest unearthing of the city of David, and not a lot you can see of it. They're just tearing this all open. See the conveyor systems are all sitting in here. Look like need some conveyor belts, so I could probably sell them some of that. And they've got some retaining walls, and it shows you what an active dig looks like. Ain't particularly pretty. And above me is the entry for the ticket booths and the entry for the 3D movie that we just saw, and I think the theater is also above us. But that's why you hear all the strange noises, is everybody walking over top of us. So this is the beginning of the dig out of the City of David.
At one time, real quickly,
The area up above that we were just shooting, and now this area are the foundations of David's palace.
That's the way it is until
You can see it's just really steep.
All of this mound used to be covered with, as you can see, these stones, this sort of stone wall. What is it? It appears to be, though, not a grand staircase. The steps are too close to each other, but a retaining wall holding up some monumental structure up on top. Okay? That we believe to be the administration center. Very possible the palace of David. Now it's interesting because the Bible gives us a little bit of a hint to what this mirror might be. If we just read it closely and look at the Hebrew a bit, and look at even actually the English translation, and it says that David dwelt in the stronghold, is after conquering the Jebusite city, and David dwelt in the stronghold and called it the city of David. And David built round about it from Millo and inward. What is Millo? You don't know? The King James translators didn't know how to do it, so they just simply write the Hebrew word. They don't know what it is. What is Millo? Well, I'll tell you what Millo is in Hebrew. It means, comes from the word lemalo, to fill, the filling. What is the filling? Perhaps it's referring to the retaining, this sort of fill that's been laid up here. All right, in the underground tunnel
Here is
this
the,
way, vertical, which leads
current
out
city
to
of
a
David.
pool.
You can see
A
the
pool,
Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock
Later, that
above.
pool will become the Siloam
You come
pool.
down,
The pool of Shiloh.
That gives you,
Siloam's actually
and then I'm just going to slide down onto an artist rendition of what it would have looked like in David's day. And that would have been the city of David as it was when David lived here.
But nonetheless, the water, Hezekiah, as we're going to show you a little bit later, he's going to do something
And
different.
we're
He's going
someplace
to come
up in this
across this
area,
Canaanite tunnel, but he's going
which
to
would have
channel the
been the
water
palace.
away into a pool. That
And then
pool is
we're
going to be
going
evident to
over-
us at the end of the water
well,
tunnel.
we'll go down through the
and what's
water
important
tunnel.
to us, it's called the pool
There
of
is the
Siloam
spring.
in Jesus' day. Okay?
And then we come down
The
this way.
idea is to save, to mass
And the water would actually have been all collected down at the bottom of this.
water source from within this city.
So that is the city of David. And here we are, starting our way down toward Hezekiah's tunnel. This has been all dug down with this. We're deep below where the palace was now. And it's starting to feel like the inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Only the nice thing is I can stand up and I don't have to stoop over at a 90-degree angle.
It's very uneven.
Ouch. Watch your head. Well, you guys don't have to watch your head. I gotta watch my head. Well, I whacked my head there at one spot, so.
Yeah, the lights are good. Very wide, very wide. My eyes. One more. Can you believe they dug this out back in those days? All our way down here. Come down a little. And it didn't take them 1,000 years.
They had slavery 4 feet and they just passed the
Wow, gotta really watch the floor. It's really uneven. We're starting down another passage.
Well, we have to go wait right here.
And here we find Warren's shaft. This is a naturally occurring shaft. They thought originally it was thought that it might have been a cut shaft down through to the water source, but it was not. And this whole tunnel system that we're currently in is Canaanite. And I'll take and shoot you back up this direction. Okay, this structure's not Canaanite, obviously, but they've had to come in and shore up everything to keep it from collapsing in. And then you can see the shoring that they're doing. Looks like Pennsylvania coal mining techniques. Here we are at yet another opening. Here's our mighty intrepid group, the gang of us that are going to go on the Hezekiah tunnel trip.
Okay, we're standing before the Middle Bronze Age gateway, and I want to show you what we're seeing in this wonderful diagram.
We are now here in Hezekiah's tunnel, shooting by oh, not the water. You can hear the water rushing past me. I'm literally unable to see anything except for the little screen in front of me, because I don't have woo! Hey, that's cold water, baby.
Get ready, it gets deep here in a second.
Oh man.
There's no handrail here.
There's no handrail, there's no lighting. This is...
Oh, that's better now. At least it's
Whoa.
not around.
I don't like doing this in the winter time.
Does it drop off? That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Gets about gets chin deep, just a little ahead of here.
This is about as deep as it'll get.
Okay, that's good. That's deep enough.
I don't
It's
know
about 40 minutes long.
This deep?
We're going to be in this about 30, 40 minutes, so...
Will it all be this deep?
I know how it gets right here, so it goes, the water gets up.
You want to get in front of me?
That's fine, let her go. Can't get lost.
Okay, you're not gonna
Sure.
get.
Are you
Okay,
okay,
good.
Mom? Yeah, I just need your mic.
Okay, where am I going? Oh, I guess this way.
Is this how cold it is? Holy cow. It wouldn't take long to get through.
There we go, the rest of the mouth's pretty, it's not bad, it's a more shallow.
Okay, you're only gonna get a few minutes of this because I do not have.
Mary, how you doing? Okay, tell me if you're not.
Keep by me.
Okay.
Can you see okay? Or mine like that? Is that better? Maybe you'll see the plaster still in there, still on the sides of the... You see the plaster? Mary? It's all plaster that you can keep on.
Now this is telling us it's going to be a 35 or 40 minute walk through this tunnel, and I'm down to the last 3 minutes of this tape, so I'm probably just going to run the tape out, and you guys will have to find out on the next tape whether we survived or we drowned. The tunnel is hand-hewn, varying in height from about, I'd say about 5.5 feet. Right now it's about 7 or 8 feet. I'm walking in about, I'd say 6 inches of water at this moment. It has been up to the middle of my thighs.
Your arm okay holding it up?
Yeah, are you okay?
Tell me if you drop off the wall.
Not for a while, I don't think.
shut off right now.
Are you doing okay?
We've been in here for, oh man, I don't know, 20 minutes or 30 minutes, something like that. And we're now into with the last 5 minutes of this. So I'm going to shoot just a little bit of this out, scraping along the walls. So everybody else has got a flashlight. I get to walk into the total darkness. It's a real joy. Ouch. Narrow. I'll see you on the top. Well, and here we come to the end of the tunnel.
Off to your left is the plaque. Jay passed the plaque. Jay passed it.
There's a plaque right here. There's a plaque right here.
Man, you got a chance to get out of here. Okay,
Read it.
when you're out of the way, Jay, we'll take a picture.
Yeah, I can read the plaque. That's right.
This is just the halfway mark.
And I'm here emerging from the darkness.
We're just married.
And this is the... I think it's a victory for all of us.
The tunnel keeps going that way, see? The tunnel keeps going that way.
Okay, we have decided that Aton is actually quite evil. Well, a little boy just brought Aton in, and this is a locked off area. This is not open to the public, and these are the actual steps that came down to the Pool of Siloam in ancient times. It's been unearthed, and they still have it all. As you can see, it's really not a tourist area, and that is way cool. And here at the very end of this tape, I don't know how much, I may not even be videoing at this point, but this is the actual Pool of Siloam, where the water was running to as we were walking through that water course. And here again we get just another view of the pool, and I'm not sure that this to the right is the pool. I think it may actually be this down here that is totally buried underneath everything, maybe the pool. Because there are steps leading down to it. Well, we are here in the, well, it's the Potter's Field, or the Valley of Blood, and there's just a whole bunch of different reasons why they call this, or it can also be called Hell. It was a burial place, a place where the Canaanites sacrificed children. There's just a whole bunch of different traditions. It's also possible it's just nothing more than a trash dump, and it was all the broken shards of pottery, and that's why they call it a potter's field. They just don't really know, but they do know that this is, this is an area where there were a lot of tombs, because there's a lot of caves. And I'll take you up a little bit further here.
Look at this.
And here are some of the
Yeah, we call this the Rakefit.
some of the different
It is a cyclamen.
old natural caves. And we'll run you up this way. And
Usually comes out after the winter.
After the
Don't
winter.
go too far.
up here is another small cave. So in ancient times, this would have been, well, when we were standing way above the ground level, because this would have, they think this may have been a trash dump. And so this valley has been pretty well filled in. It would have been much deeper. Well, this will give you the best view that we've had of the wall. When we were in Bethlehem, and I believe that's Bethlehem in the distance, that gray snake running along, looks like the Great Wall of China, is the division wall. We've seen various ones. I know I videotaped a couple of days ago an electrified fence that was running along. That was part of the security wall. But here they put in, they actually put in a concrete structure, and it is about 20 feet tall. And at key points they have specifically put in guard turrets, and we were told not to photograph the checkpoints, so that was really the best place that we saw the wall. But you can get these soldiers getting real picky with you. So anyway, so that would be the wall, and then I'll broaden this out and show you how far we are away from it right now. This is looking down through the Valley of Blood, or the Valley of Death, or Hell, or whatever you want to call it, where we just were. And so that is the wall.
Number of those. So you can put one family member there. If a number of them die together, you never know. You put one body in, another body in, wait 11 months, and then you cap off that area. You wait 11 months, you come back into the tomb, and then you put all of that in a bone box. Now, you know, this rolling stone.
Here you can see the rolling
If
stone.
this wasn't filled in with dirt, I mean, I myself probably could move it with a big crowbar. It may take 2 people to do it, but nonetheless, it's
This is
a rolling stone because it's
Supposed to be
designed to be
Herod's
moved.
tomb, Herod the Great's tomb.
So that's the thing that we have to keep into consideration, and it can be, it can be locked in place by dropping officially. At the end when it's all said and done, if I needed to, I can drop large stones in here, which prevent the stone from being moved. But that is it.
Very cool, thank you.
Well, we've come to the old city, the wall, this morning, and this is the Damascus Gate. Walk over this way and you can see the Damascus Gate. Slits in the walls would have been for your shooting your arrows out through the slots at the guy storming your gates. And here is the massive wooden and ironclad gate, probably 500, 600 years old. And guy fixing a cell phone. I'll bring you over to this side and you can see there shows the wood from the inside, and then the steel cladding that goes on the face of it. Pretty good sized set of doors.
My name's Steve. I'll be taking you around, and then the 2 groups will be taking communion in different places. So try and
This
make
is
sure
a
you
Protestant
get to the right place.
area called
I
Golgotha.
guess it wouldn't matter too much. But, we try to make
You
sure
can
that
kinda
the same
see the-
people leaders come in.
The eyes and the bridge of the nose,
I couldn't possibly comment.
the place of the skull.
Not possible.
Right, so can you give me any who has not been here? Who can't remember if they've been here? So behind us are the city walls of Jerusalem, and you see at this.
Well, just found an interesting footnote. I've read extensively about a guy by the name of Chinese Gordon, who was the General Gordon who eventually would die in Khartoum, and he led the siege army that went through China to relieve legations in Beijing during the Boxer Rebellion, or the Taiping, during the Taiping Rebellion. And he's the one that actually came up with the idea that this is Golgotha. You can see a pair of eyes right there, the 2 dark eye holes. And we've got a picture from the 40s, I think he said, that unfortunately right where the plants are, they put in that and it's blocked the view of the mouth, but it looked like it had a mouth also. This was the place of the skull, or Golgotha, and it's just outside the Damascus Gate. And this is the Protestant site for the crucifixion, and as opposed to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre on the inside of the city that the Catholics revere. We are now down at the Garden Tomb. You can see the arch that goes over it.
Okay, if you just come in a little bit,
And that
I
would have
want
been
to
the
explain a little bit about what
place
we're
where the
looking at
stone
here.
would have rolled.
Remember, the Bible describes the tomb in which the body of Jesus was laid as being a
Or a
tomb, the entrance to which
circular
was sealed by a
stone.
stone being rolled across. I used to go to Sunday school. They used to have a thing called a flannel graph. Does anyone remember flannel graphs?
Yes.
Yes, and on this particular flannel graph was a huge boulder, and you always used to have an angel sitting on top.
And we're going to go into the Garden Tomb.
No.
This would have been the preparation room here. Body would have been prepared. And then this would have been the spot where the body would have been laid. In the tradition of 11 months, and then they would have come back and collected up the bones, would have been the theory. Of course, that didn't happen in this case. And this actually had 2 burial chambers. The other one would have been over here, but this was never really completed, he tells us. And up on the wall, he said this would date it to Crusader times, this cross. And so this is the Garden Tomb.
Were some of the Sanhedrin there? In all probability, yes. Mrs. Eddy writes in her message to the Mother Church for 1902, quoting a Scottish theologian, Dr. Reverend Hugh Black, who says, and she says, he writes truly, the birthplace of civilization is not Athens, but Calvary. Mrs. Eddy also tells us on page 50 of Science and Health that the burden of that hour was terrible beyond human conception. The distrust of mortal minds, disbelieving the purpose of his mission, was 1,000,000 times sharper than the thorns which pierced his flesh. The real cross which Jesus bore up the hill of grief was the world's hatred of truth and love. Not the spear, nor the material cross wrung from his faithful lips the poignant cry, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani. It was the possible loss of something more important than human life which moved him. The possible misapprehension of the sublimest influence of his career.
Well, we've come to Emmaus, and this is the ruins of a Byzantine church.
Son, no son, whatever you want. Local arrows that live here in this country did us a big favor in many cases. When the name of the city changed,
This is Ekman's wife, Buckshot. No, where's the...
Gotta get a picture of you. Yeah. Want to get together? Oh, yeah, next year. We get one of you.
And that's the end of our guided section of the tour. We have another day and a half that we'll be kind of just wandering around the country. Well, we've come to apparently the major produce market here. Corn on the cob and apples. Pomegranates, artichokes over here, some sort of nuts. I don't know what these big green things are. Lady doing business here on different kinds of overlooking the scene. Here's two little boys up on one of the balconies. I don't know what a better way to finish this video but to see the garden tomb lit up at night. It's about 5 p.m.
Yeah.
and most people have cleared out, and it's now becoming kind of quiet. And this is the Protestant location for the garden tomb.